Until the lights come on, I guess it's time to start. I will call to order the June 31st meeting of the Oklahoma City Riverfront Redevelopment Authority. Item 2 is from the chairman. We have an appointment. Trustee Adam Edwards has agreed to serve on the Development and Water Use Committee, Kathy's committee. We appreciate you volunteering to do that. We need to make that appointment. I need a motion. We have a motion and a second. Cast your vote. And that passes. Item 3 is the minutes from the December 20 meeting. Do we have any changes or corrections? Motion. Cast your vote. And that item passes. Item 4 is the consent docket. We have the oil and gas revenue report and the river corridor events update. Any questions on either one of those? Motion. Cast your vote. And that passes. Item 5 is the primary agenda items. Item A is a river project summary.
Good afternoon, Jay Shumway, Oklahoma City Public Works. Some of the items that we've had for our summary for January are, again, they're kind of ongoing. A lot of SCADA repairs and debris removal aspects. Even though we haven't had a lot of heavy flow, we've still managed to maintain about 16 tons of debris removal from the river for the month of December. We're still anticipating our dredging program to get started. We're working through some regulatory permitting right now. Hopefully that will be, that activity should be good to go hopefully by spring. Some of the other upcoming projects that we have are a Public Works facility addition. And if you'll scroll just a little further, David, you'll see kind of some concepts of what that facility addition will look like. Other than that, we anticipate a lot of other projects that will coincide with the Arcana ferry service landing. We're still looking into multiple projects that can be done simultaneously as we're looking at a water lowering for a period of time. But outside of that, if there are any other questions.
Any questions on the report? Motion to accept. Cast your vote.
Yes. Are you on presentation? You vote aye.
And that passes. Item B is an update from Epic Paintball Park, LLC, on its activities on the leasehold near Northwest 10th and County Line Road.
Hi, I'm Randall Coles, owner of Epic Paintball Park. How are you guys? Basically, right now we're in a holding pattern. Reason being is the economy. Inflation hits our type of business pretty hard when you got to pay $4 for eggs, things like that. August at our current park over off of I-40 and Morgan Road next door to Terex, which is about a mile south of there. August we were down 50%. September, October 10 and 20%. November 35 to 40%. This December down almost 50%. Give you an idea, last December Of course, I know weather has a little to do with it, and Christmas being on the weekend didn't help. But we're at 702 people through the park registered in last December, this December, 365. Now, January was about even. So I'm hoping that with prices starting to come down at the, at the market, at the food stores and things of that nature, people have more spending money for entertainment. And our numbers should hopefully pull up by this summer. This has affected the amount of savings or money to go toward the project on 10th, because we don't want it to go in there, start the project, and do it, I don't know a good way to put it, not fully fund it. Does that make sense? Also, we're getting ready to start on the legal side of things. I did spend about 10 grand on a FEMA study for the land as far as the flooding and things of that nature, and that has all been taken care of. That was taken care of last year before all the inflation hit. This year, in the next month or so, we're going to start on the PUD side of things, the Planned Urban Development. The current PUD, I think, is 555, but I'm not exactly sure the number. I didn't look. I should have looked before I came, but it's extremely restrictive, and it was written probably 25 years ago. And so it runs into an issue where it wants 300-foot boundaries all the way around the property. But the property, when it was originally done on that PUD, was the north and the south side of the river. So it ran right next to a housing development. We're not using the south side of it. And my PUD for the current I-40 project is more relative. In other words, if we have sustainable tree, a lot of trees in an area, we only have to have a 25-foot boundary. If we put up netting, we don't have to have a boundary because we're keeping the balls in the course either by vegetation or the netting. The old PUD didn't even stipulate any of that. It just said 300 foot. And when you do that, it cuts the 26 acres that we're dealing with by over half. So to make it more palatable and more reasonable for the times, we're going to be redoing that PUD and updating it and make it more along the lines of our PUD that we currently have that you guys approved at the I-40 location. So right now we're kind of in a holding pattern. I'm going to start on the PUD, so we're at least moving forward. The FEMA stuff has been done, so that's all done. And then as far as the building of the project, will probably at least be a year out, if not 2. We'd like to keep the lease in place just for security standpoint. And I know that they've been like cleaning up the area and things of that nature, which is really nice. Any questions?
Your lease on the property is up in March of this year, and so and I heard you say you'd like to renew that lease to
Right.
to get the time to do what you want to do on it. Is that correct?
Correct, yes.
Okay. That's going to go, Kathy, I think that's coming to your committee here in the near future?
Yes, it is. We have it scheduled one day this week.
Okay. So the committee, the Water Use Committee will take that into consideration, and they'll make a recommendation on renewing that lease for you.
Right.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay. Good luck.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Do we receive that? I need a motion to receive that update. Cast your vote. And that item passes. Item C is the annual financial report for the authority. Any questions on that? I would make a note to our newer trustees. If you look on page 19 and 20 of the report, you'll find a listing of the leaseholds that we have currently in our jurisdiction, so to speak. I know from time to time, we renew these, and maybe sometimes they're wondering what they are and how long they've been around, and this report will cover those for you. If you get bored in the cold, you'll have reading material if you'd like to do that. Any questions? Need a motion? And cast your vote. Yeah, it passes. Item D is Riversport Foundation has a request to authorize event-specific vehicle and tent camping during the sneak peek weekend coming this April. They did this last year, and we put some stipulations on them as far as control of the property. And I think they're willing to agree to that, those same stipulations this year. Is that correct, Mike?
Yes, that's correct. And this is to include tent camping as well. As we've done in the past, we've had an urban camping program in the past, and also a couple Boy Scout camps, and really trying to promote the idea that, you know, families who may never get a chance to go camping can do it, and it's very accessible. You know, we have partners like REI and others that are very involved. It's kind of part of that Thrive Outside initiatives that we have. So, so we kind of want to bring that back and do that at select times, and starting with the sneak peek weekend. Of course, on the vehicle side, just the clientele, the people, the kayakers, it's very prevalent in that world about people having, you know, the vans and it's a thing. So it's something we want to accommodate as well, and we can do that within and manage that, and, you know, provide security. So the tent camping, just so you know, is all within the fence of the Whitewater. In fact, they camp on the island at the Whitewater facility, and we have security. So and it just makes it really easy for families who maybe have never been camping. They can come down, and they're not roughing it too bad, you know, so they're got showers and restrooms nearby, so.
Yeah. We can do this one of two ways. If the trustees are comfortable with approving it with the same conditions as last year, we can go ahead and do that now. If you'd like to get more information or ask for something different on it, then we can defer this and bring it forward later. Does anybody want to delay doing this to look at conditions or
I'd say we move
stipulations?
Move forward with the motion with the previous conditions.
I have a question. Well, I wasn't here last year, so I just want to ask, was there anything different? Like, did you notice anything from the stipulations that were last year? Like, is there anything that you feel like we could have done this better, or maybe we had adjusted this, anything like that?
I'm not, yeah, that was I think there was a stipulation regarding the number, and that, you know, it's hard to turn people away, you know, and so we have a lot of capacity, so I think that would be the only thing, is to consider the number, so.
Was it less than 24 or more than 24?
Well, there was more than 24, especially given we're going to allow camping as well, so.
So
Okay, let's do this. Let's let Mike bring forward the changes that he wants on that, what numbers he'd like to have on it, and get that to staff, and we can approve this next month. You think that's agreeable?
Yeah,
I mean,
that
if that-
would certainly work for us, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't want to try to amend it from the floor if the staff might want to look at what you're suggesting to get on the property, so.
Okay, well, we'll consult with our staff, and we'll come back. We appreciate that. Thank you.
We want to defer this? Okay, I'd ask for a deferral on this to next month for staff to work with the foundation on it.
Okay.
Make a motion. Somebody making a motion? Okay. Cast your vote. And that passes.
Okay.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mike.
Okay, item E is the schedule of cash receipts ending December 31. Any questions on that? Need a motion? Cast your vote. And that passes. Item 6 is the claims docket. Any questions on the claims docket? Motion? Cast your vote. That passes. Item 7 is comments. We've got the director's report.
Hello, thank you very much. As you see in the report, there are multiple activities happened along the Riverfront Redevelopment Authority leaseholds. I do want to draw attention to, we wanted to include, we've had questions in the past about how much value is in our partnership with the trust and the maintenance of the trust park properties all up and down the river. And so we included in the memo in your report the value of the Parks Recreation's contribution toward that maintenance. We saw a really huge improvement over this past 6 months in the security and the just the safety of the park's properties along the river because of a private security company that now patrols that river from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. 2 individuals are in vehicles that drive up and down both sides of the river. That has greatly reduced the amount of vandalism, destruction of property, and it really has increased the feeling of safety of people who are down on the river, enjoying themselves, doing positive activities. So that's been a big help. So we just appreciate your partnership and look forward to another year. Any questions?
Any questions?
Thank you.
Need a motion to accept that report? Cast your vote. And that passes. Any comments by trustees? I have one comment, or actually it's a request, and I talked to a gentleman from Embark about it, but I'd like to get in the next month or two a report on the cruisers. They've been here for a while. I asked him before the meeting started about the lifespan on them, and if you just look at the normal lifespan, I think we're getting close to it, but he indicates that the boats are in great condition and the maintenance they do on them. But I thought it'd be nice to do a full-fledged presentation on the cruisers and what they do to keep them up and what they expect to happen to them in the future and so forth. I don't know that there's many of us around left here that were around when we got the cruisers, and I thought it would be nice to see that. So hopefully that'll be coming in the next month or two. Any other comments by trustees? Citizens, any further comments? Yeah, Mike? You're not ice skating out there, are you?
No, but it makes cleaning the Whitewater Center a little challenging. On that note, I was just going to mention that we are currently in process of installing the new filtration system, and it has been a big project, and it's looking good. There's been a significant effort. If you've been to see the Whitewater, happen to see it when you're on the bridge, I-35 bridge, that it's obviously totally drained, and I mean, it is the team has really done a remarkable job getting it ready for when we do bring the water back in, including the pits in the pump house that are really hard to get down to. So I think we're going to see a really exciting improvement in terms of the Whitewater clarity when we open up, and we will officially open the end of April, and we'll have that preview as I'd mentioned before. The other thing I'd mention is Barquet does finally open here just in the next week, and so very excited about that. If you've not seen it, it's really a very cool spot. They've done a great job with it, and encourage you to come by and bring your dog if you have one. You don't need a dog to come, but it's really a great project, and we're very excited about it. So, okay, thank you.
Thank you. those comments remind me also, in the, if you noticed in the report on the maintenance projects, they gave an update on the things that's going to happen down in that basin in the next year or so. There's a lot of stuff. They're going to have to drain it sometime this year, and so they can start working on some of those things. They talk about a landing for the cruisers at the First American Museum. They're talking about a bridge across the river. There's just a number of things going on, so a lot of coordination is going to have to happen with River Sport Foundation and with those projects coming online. So exciting times. Any other citizens? We are adjourned.